What is up, guys? It's your boy Brendan, aka Drip, back with another video and an updated deck profile video at that. This week at locals, I decided to take Cyber Dragon to my locals. We kind of had an agreement as a locals to have a more laid back and not so top heavy decks. Not to take anything away from Cyber Dragon, this deck can obviously contend with some of the higher tier decks. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying I felt like it was the right time to play my updated list. And I mean, I was probably actually going to play Cyber Dragon regardless anyways. But outside of playing against more fun decks of locals, I'm also been kind of tearing it up online with this on EDO. On EDO with this list against higher tier decks. That's why I was saying I'm not trying to take anything away from this deck. This deck is very powerful. It's one of the best rogue decks and always probably will be, honestly, as long as the base core and that it stays together and stuff. So, but outside of that, let's go ahead and get into this profile. This is a locals deck profile, which means normally with my locals deck profiles, I'll show you them the side deck and stuff too that I use, and we'll talk more about that when we get in there. But one thing I will say is Cyber Dragon is kind of basically like, a lot of it is like kind of like standard, if that makes sense. Start out, we got 3 Cyber Dragon. Sorry, they're not ulti, but they are kind of sentimental to me because 2 out of the 3 are the one I've had since the tin can, since it came out when I was a kid. So, but 3 more Cyber Dragon, basically. 3 core, the best one in the deck. This card's like overall value is just ridiculous because I'll tell you this right now, Cyber Dragon is one of my favorite decks of all time, but like when, at least myself personally, I forget the full potential of what certain decks do when I'm constantly trying to put out content for you guys, and I forget the overall true value of what cards and decks do. But with Cyber Dragon, like I continuously to forget how important this card is and how busted it really is. Its graveyard effect has saved me so many times. It's ridiculous. If my board gets wiped and stuff against the higher tier decks, it's just what this card facilitates is kind of just ridiculous. Then on to the next best one, hers. Sadly for me personally, his resurrect effect never really comes up, but his effect to add core back from grave is mainly what I use him for, unless I'm using it. If I don't have a core in grave, I just search a vanilla if I need to. Basically a vanilla. It's not a vanilla, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, hers is the second best one. On top of that, it's a level 1, which plays a little bit of role with our extra deck. So yeah. And then we got 2 Naster. I know a lot of people dropped this to 1. I don't like it. I don't. I will say though, even though I don't like it, I do side 1 copy out from time to time. Not because I don't want to see it. It's the fact that the only reason I run 2 is if you know me and my deck profiles, I build my deck profiles mid-ranged and ability to grind. And that's it's my play style. You might not like it. You might have a different play style. That's perfectly fine. We're all human, and this is Yu-Gi-Oh, and this is where everybody can express themselves, I guess, with their decks. So, but this is my Cyber lineup, my main Cyber lineup. Nothing I'd really change. This card's nuts. It saves me so many freaking times being able to bring back anything almost, and extend your plays and keeps you in the game. Like these 2, like Core and Naster, is so gross. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't know how to explain it. How good they are mid game. That's it for my Cyber lineup. Moving on to the just generic utility cards or extenders part of the deck. We only run 1 Jizz. At times I would like to run 2 because I would like to see this faster. Fun fact: don't ever side this out. It cost me a game one time, actually, because I sided this out. And because I knew I was going first. He was going to make me go first. And I sided this out, and it cost me the game. So, note to self, don't side this out. than I am only on the 2 soldier. You're never going to resolve this more than once. You're not playing a Galaxy Eyes deck. You're playing a Cyber Dragon deck. So you're only going to resolve it once. So you only need 2. If you're running any more than that, you're just playing an extra brick in your deck that you don't need, dude. Just saying. Onto the hand traps. Monster hand trap count, we got just 3 Ash. That's the only monster one I'm running. It's the most generic and most impactful, I think, right now besides Imperm, but it's not a monster hand trap. And then I am on that DPE fuck shit. Sorry. I know a lot of like old school Cyber Dragon players don't like putting anything extra in here like Dragoon or DPE. But I'm sorry. I like a constant reoccursion, and I like Pot of Greed. So on top of that, another reason why I really like the DPE engine over Dragoon engine is, yes, Dragoon is hard to out, but once they out it, it's gone. What I like about DPE is outside of I know this deck has a main deck out sort of to back row hate, which is Rampage, but outside of that, DPE can continuously just keep setting trap decks back and setting them back and pushing them back, because you just can keep popping their back row as soon as they set it, and they can't get no like utility out of it. They can't get ahead. So you're indirectly, every time you do that against a trap deck, like using DPE to pop, you're setting them back a half a turn to a turn, to where you just basically are spreading the gap between you and them. And that's why another reason why I really like DP in this deck, not only because the spot removal, the Pot of Greed, and if you do play a trap deck, the spot removal comes in clutch, because if you can use DPE and then use a Rampage, it just basically almost pop an entire back row, honestly. Moving on to the spells, I got 3 Cyber Dragon cards, not fucking trash ass Drytron. Saber Emergency. This card's amazing. It's beautiful. 3 Ash Bait, because it never resolves, but if it does, you just win the game. 3 of the best Yu-Gi-Oh card in the entire freaking game. Droplets. Droplets is just nasty. At this point in Yu-Gi-Oh, I shouldn't have to explain it. Also, if you're a Cyber Dragon player, you're probably running this card anyways. But then again, if you're a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, you're probably running this card anyways. If you're not, then you're probably running Chalice or something like that. So, on to the 1-ofs. The rest of my spells are basically power 1-ofs. 1 Tactics, 1 Reborn, 1 Called By, 1 Repair Plant, 1 Rev System, and 1 Overload Fusion. I'm not playing Cyberload Fusion or whatever it is, because it never comes up. I know I say I want to build for the grind game. I understand that, but myself personally, all I do is brick on 1-ofs, and I'm definitely not running 2 of that damn card, because you're never going to resolve 2 of the Cybernetic Fusion or whatever the hell it is, the one that shuffles back from Banish Pound Graveyard. I'm sorry if I'm triggering you by not remembering the name. Like I said, I have to remember a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards because I have to make a lot of deck profiles. Sorry. But no, that card, I actually really do like that card, and in my previous builds you have seen me use it, but it was also in slower formats when I used that card. But I still think that's a really good card, and I really still think it is optimal in certain situations. But in this deck, I have no room for it, and I need to try to balance between offensive cards and utility cards. And that one just didn't make the cut. Like, if you wanted to run it, I would run it instead of Talents probably. I don't know what else to cut, but Talents has won me games in this format, but so I wouldn't like cut it. But if you're one of those budget players or whatever, I guess you can cut it, even though Tactics is not that expensive, but it is what it is. One thing I will say about my spell lineup is I really would like to run a second Repair Plant, but because it has come up a few times, but I'm still sticking by my choice to run 1-of. There's nothing I want to cut for it. I would not cut Fusion Destiny down to 1. I know some of y'all are probably going to say that, or just cut it all together to add more utility cards. No, that's not happening. The utility that card brings is just unmatchable. Sorry. I'm going to use it until it's banned. On to the traps. got 3 Imperm. And the last one, we got the 1 Cybernetic Overflow. I'm not running 2 Overflow in this build. That's another card that I would like to run in multiple copies, because it does come clutch to where you don't have to search this with core. But I don't know. But it is what it is. I really like Overflow and what it provides. But 2 is just bricky sometimes. So moving on to the extra deck. We got token, 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 high token. Alright. There. Now we got the tokens out of the way. We got, for the Link ones, I got Almirage still. Obvious, this is standard. It's been standard since this card came out. Link Spider for the Nib, because even if they nib us, this deck can play through Nib like it's nobody's business. We don't give 2 shits about that card. Card's trash. Because they nib you, you just take the token. Because when you're doing your combo, the earliest they can nib you is on your Nova, and they're forcing Nova you, obviously, if you don't already know. Because if they nib you, like I said, the only time they can nib you is on your Nova. So what's going to happen is you're going to take your Nova's going to go to the graveyard, and then that's going to turn into a Macabre. And this, your token can turn into a Link Spider if you want to. And then if you have another extender in hand, I wouldn't use the Macabre, but you could take the token into this, and then take your extender and go into Predator Plant, Verte Anaconda, and you still end on a negate and DPE. So you're going to get to DPE no matter what. So Nib is not going to do nothing at all to you. I am still on the Anima. This card is really good. There's a lot of people that don't respect zones. And worst case scenario, late game, it has come up to where I would technically did need a second fortress or whatever, because I was playing against a machine deck or invoke deck, and I already used fortress to take their machine. So when I drop Jizz on them, you can just drop Jizakuru in the column in front of the extra monster zone and just link into Anima and just steal it that way if you need to. So Anima does come up. Like I said, outside of the fact that they don't respect zones, and you can use this late game if necessary. Link 2s, I got Seeger. Seeger is Seeger. This card legit won me a game. It wins games in its own right. Not much need to be said. If you're a Cyber Dragon player, you know what this card does. Vert. Little Uzi Vert. Verte is Verte, bro. Nothing I need to say. This card makes Rampage. This card makes DP. This card makes Dragoon. This card makes Rainbow Neos. This card makes everything just generic and stupid. That's it for the Link monsters, though. But in our deck, it only makes DP and Rampage. I'm only on the single Nova. I cut Nova down to 2. I never found myself making a second one to OTK, because if I'm going to OTK, I'm not OTKing with Nova. If I need to, I can, yes, but mainly I'm going to be OTKing with Rampage and Seeger. So the second Nova never really came up, but I am still on to Infinity. I know this has bounced back and forth between standard and non-standard basically, but for me, I really like this because I needed to make room in the extra deck. So and then I am on Zeus. This card is just stupid and it's free in this deck. But yeah, since we run Zeus, the second copy of Infinity comes up clutch, because you most of the time end up just using this to overlay the Zeus. But then the second one comes up with Nastir to bring back Nova or something like that, or Monster Reborn or something. So the second Infinity does come up. So the 2-1 ratio between Infinity and Nova, I do like personally. That's just me. But it is what it is. Not only that, Zeus, by the way, doesn't play. It plays into the Nastir. You can use it. Moving on to fusions. We got 2 Mega Fleet. The second Mega Fleet comes up a lot. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, not very many people are using links. Yeah, kind of still. People are still making Verte, aren't they? Then yes, they are still using links. On top of that, the Ad Ignister decks and stuff like that, I actually respect those decks, and Ad Ignister terrifies me because that deck is all gas, no brakes. So And then the one Fortress, sometimes I wish I had a second one, but it doesn't come up that much like the second Mega Fleet does. So I do like the second Mega Fleet. Move these to the side a little bit. The one single copy of Rampage, you're only going to make this once to OTK, and if you're not making it to OTK, then you could just use it to overlay into an Infinity if you need to. Well, Nova, then Infinity. And then the one DPE, the guy himself, explanatory. And then the one free Makaba, if our opponent nibs us like an idiot, we just get this for free. Basically, nothing else needs to be said about that. Moving on to the side deck, because this is a locals deck profile, so there is a side, and I will show. The side can change depending on your locals or what you see fit, but I feel like this one's fairly generic if you think about it. Excuse me. Started out, I got 2 Thanos. Thanos is Thanos. This card's value, I feel, is very undervalued. What this card really brings to the table, it protects against Imperm, Valor, and it recycles your hand and resets your hand. So yes, and people are still playing Link Monsters. 2 Droll, 2 Lancia, and 2 Nib are the big, like, I split in 2. I did a lot of 2s mainly in this form in this form of side deck because I wanted the overall utility and I didn't want to see multiples, if that makes sense. So the 2 ratio usually helps out. Now, if your place is like overran with like Virtual or something, or the piece of shit trash Flunder deck that's garbage, maybe you want to increase these to like 3 apiece, and like take out the nibs or something. But yeah, the next card, the last monster in the side deck, is 3 Gizmic. This card is like, people forget what this card does, but this card is nuts. Definitely if you're playing against like Sword Soul, you can drop this on them for free. I was playtesting originally trying to use Small World in this deck, but it's kind of impossible because everything is light machines. And the hand traps, you can't really banish to search anything because they don't really help out that much. Because I really wanted to be able to search this card. I really wanted to build the deck around this card, but I couldn't. Because if you don't know what this card does, you basically, if your opponent controls 2 monsters, summon from the extra deck, basically, and you're going second, you can drop this for free, and then you can attack over something if you want to get rid of one of their negates, and then go to main phase 2, and then uses effect to burn for 1500 to destroy all special summon monsters, and it forces a negate. Definitely if you're playing against whatchamacallit, what is it called? Sword Soul, you can drop this for free, attack over their Shishao, and then pay 1500, force out the Baron, and then after that, you can indirectly like play around Blackout and stuff like that. So it helps out in that regard against that matchup. So, but it's not just for that matchup, obviously. It can be used against Phantom Knights because they have a bunch of cards summoned from the extra deck. Sky Striker. It basically, this card, you special it for free, and it forces out negates, interruptions, because they have to respect this card and how it's a nuke on legs. Cosmic Cyclone because of Scythe, and just back row decks because Lord of Heavenly Prison, I respect that card and I want to play around that card, and this card does. And top of that, Eldritch is Eldritch. I don't want them to have follow-ups in Grave. So 1 Duster because it's 2 free, 1 Reboot, and 1 Pank because Pank plus Cyber Dragon plus Core equals GG no re. But nothing really needs to be said about this. These are all generic. They're all really good. That's what I use for the side deck. Sadly, though, the Gizmek card never really came up because I never saw it because I'm not a good duelist and draw my side pieces. But either way, it's still a good card because I use it online. I use it in testing. It comes in clutch. If you see my deck profiles, most of the time you'll normally see that card when I'm doing a Cyber Dragon list. It's nothing really new. I think I left it out of like 1 or 2 lists previously prior to this one. But overall, I'd try to put it in there if I can. If there's a lot of, if it's not a control-based format, basically, if it's a kind of a combo-ish or split between the two, I will run it. But this is the deck that I got second place with, main, extra, and side. 40 card list, main, 15 extra deck, and 15 side deck. Nothing I would change. It is what it is. Cyber Dragons go burr. But with that being said, guys, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Please, please, please hit the subscribe button. Check out the merch in the description down below. I'll be dropping some new merch soon. I know there's not very much on there outside of like the emblems and stuff that we have now. But we do have stickers and t-shirts and sweatshirts and shit. We even have a grill apron, bro, if you want to be representing the family in a grill apron. I didn't actually I made it, but like I didn't like choose to put an apron on there. The website that I'm like kind of like partnered with, I guess you could say, has grill aprons as options, and I just did it for the big meme. But anyways, guys, we're working our way to 900 subscribers, and then we're on to that 1,000 marker, and I can't freaking wait to get there with you guys and just continue to grow our family. Sorry, I can't speak. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoy this profile, and you have an awesome day, night, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this video. Hope you all are staying safe out there in the age of COVID, and it's your boy Drip out. Peace. Good dueling, my guys.